Have you noticed that you can't even sit still for 10 seconds without reaching for your phone? You don't even need to check anything, but your hand still grabs it. And in those rare moments of silence, waiting in line, sitting in traffic, lying in bed, you instantly fill the space with noise, music, podcasts, scrolling, anything but silence. But here's the uncomfortable truth: you're not avoiding boredom, you're avoiding yourself. We live in a world allergic to silence. The moment we're alone, we scroll, binge, swipe, refresh. But every time we avoid boredom, we also avoid deep thinking, the kind that leads to clarity and breakthrough. We've been trained to fear boredom. But boredom isn't the enemy. Boredom is the brain's reset button, your portal to creativity, focus, and even emotional balance. The problem isn't boredom. The problem is that you never let your mind get bored enough to hear itself think. Think back. Before smartphones, before endless content, we had space to be bored. And in that space, we reflected, we dreamed, we discovered what we truly felt. But now, we're so busy consuming that we don't even know what we believe anymore. We confuse stimulation with growth, but really, it's just numbing us from ourselves. Most people associate boredom with laziness, but boredom is actually a mental reset. When your brain isn't bombarded with input, it finally starts to process everything you've ignored. That's when ideas form. That's when solutions surface. That's when your true desires rise to the top. You know that moment when you're doing nothing and suddenly remember something important? Or when a random idea hits you while walking alone or staring at the ceiling? That's not random. That's your brain functioning as it should, free from distraction. Great minds, thinkers, creators, innovators, they make space for boredom because they know that silence isn't a break from thinking. It's where the best thinking happens. Here's something most people don't know: boredom activates your brain's default mode network, the system responsible for deep thinking, self reflection, and creative insights. This is why your best ideas show up when you're not even trying, like in the shower or while staring at the ceiling. It's not a coincidence. It's your brain finally getting a chance to connect, sort, and reflect without distractions. But every time you interrupt boredom with noise, you cut that process short. You silence the voice inside you that's trying to speak. Here's a hard question: when was the last time you had an original thought? Not a quote you read, not a podcast insight, not a repost or a reel, but something that came from within you. For most people, it's been a while. Because when you're always listening to everyone else, you lose your own voice. You become addicted to being entertained, informed, distracted, but you forget how to be present. And over time, that costs you something subtle but powerful: self-trust. If you never hear your own thoughts, how can you ever trust them? Think about this. How many life-changing ideas have you had when you were just sitting alone, doing nothing? How many moments of peace came when you were offline and quiet? Some of the world's most successful people, authors, entrepreneurs, athletes, schedule white space into their day. That's not laziness, that's discipline. Because they understand in silence you don't fall behind. You leap ahead. In a world that constantly tells you to do more, post more, scroll more, boredom is rebellion. It's how you reset your mind, how you start to hear your intuition again, how you rebuild your emotional balance. Most of the breakthroughs you're looking for are already inside you. You're just too distracted to notice them. You don't need a productivity hack. You need space. 5 minutes a day of intentional boredom is more powerful than 5 hours of rushed activity. Try this. Sit down. No phone, no music, no noise. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Just exist. Watch your thoughts. You'll fidget. You'll get uncomfortable. But then something beautiful will happen. Your mind will start clearing, not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Train your mind to stop filling every empty space. Because silence isn't empty, it's full of the answers you've been too busy to hear. Boredom is not your enemy. It's your teacher. When you learn to sit with it, you finally remember who you are. What if, instead of escaping boredom, you welcomed it like a coach? What if the discomfort you feel in stillness is the very thing shaping your next level? Stop fearing the pause. Sit in the silence. Let your brain declutter. Let your soul speak. Let your future unfold. Train your mind to be still. That's where your power's hiding. So the next time you feel boredom creeping in, don't run from it. Don't scroll it away. Don't bury it under noise. Instead, pause. Lean into it. Because boredom isn't emptiness. It's the doorway to clarity, creativity, and growth. Your greatest breakthroughs will not come in the middle of distraction. They'll come in the middle of stillness. So, train your mind to see boredom not as wasted time, but as invested time. Because if you can master your mind in silence, you can master it anywhere. This is the kind of training that separates the distracted from the disciplined, the restless from the resilient, and the lost from the truly focused. Your mind will try to resist, but if you can sit with boredom long enough, you won't just survive it, you'll be transformed by it. Remember, silence isn't empty. It's full of the answers you've been searching for. So take this as your challenge. Turn boredom into your secret weapon and watch what your mind, your ideas, and your life become. If this message moved something in you, give this video a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more ways to train your mind for a stronger, clearer future.